Well, hey everybody, I'm John Ritlin. These are my top 50 favorite horror movies of the last 25 years. And credit goes to AbbyVX on Twitter for the inspiration for this show. And it's the good side, the light side of what was my top 50 least favorite horror movies list of the last 25 years. And got a little anger towards some of those movies, as you would expect, since I didn't really enjoy them. Many of you know I am a major fan of horror movies. I love both good and bad. And some of these may be ones where you're just like, why'd you put that and not this? Well, because it's my list and it's stuff I enjoyed. Now, some of these movies aren't necessarily like the scariest. Some I thought just used good horror elements. Some were good horror comedies. Because horror is subjective. Some people are not going to be scared by them. Some people are not going to laugh. Some people are not going to enjoy a lot of these movies, but I did. Now, again, there's a comment box, or the comments down there. Please leave your thoughts in the comments, and you can tell me how I'm wrong, even though it's my list and I can't speak for you guys, and why should you speak for me? The whole point is, let's just have some fun, and let's see how far I get into this list in about 30-something minutes. So, here we go with number 50 from 2013, Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunters. Already expecting, people to type on this. How could you like this movie? How could you think this is good? One, I kind of liked how bloody it was. It was ridiculous. It was a stupid spin on the Hansel and Gretel, like story and everything. But I like Gemma, girl who played Gretel. I loved her. She was great in that Prince of Persia movie. And you had Jeremy Renner in it, and you had Famke Janssen or Famke Janssen. I don't know how you actually pronounce her name. I've never actually known that. She was Jean Grey in the X-Men movies, or at least the good ones. And also she was in GoldenEye. I really enjoyed this just because it was a fun spin. It was a fun comedy. It wasn't anything great, but it was enjoyable. And I thought, even though that I wasn't scared by this movie, I like how it went for the R rating and everything and had a whole lot of fun. So sometimes horror just needs to be fun. I thought this was fun. Number 49, The Gallows from 2015. Found footage movies are hit and miss. I say that because I have some found footage horror movies that are on this list. This was enjoyable, though. I like the atmosphere. It was obviously made on the cheap. If this movie was made for more than $100,000, I would be absolutely amazed. But it took place in a high school where these kids or these teens break in and try to destroy this set. That's based on a play that took place like a number of years ago, where a kid actually died because it was like there was a hanging scene and the thing went wrong. So of course, naturally, this school's haunted by somebody, aka, the ghost of the boy that died, and a bunch of shit goes down. I like the way they filmed this, though. I thought it was compact but well done. Sure, you had a lot of kids making a lot of stupid decisions and everything, but I thought the atmosphere and the mood were pretty well done. Was it great? No, but I put it on here because I really enjoyed it. And we go all the way back to 1998 for the number 48 edition, or the 48th entrant, that is Deep Blue Sea. I love Deep Blue Sea. It was fun. It was fun. It was just great. It was, stupid shark movie where they genetically enhanced sharks, as a way to a way to figure out a cure for Alzheimer's. So we're going to increase the brain mass of sharks. That's not how science works. It's not how science works at all. Samuel Jackson also had a great death in this. I'm sorry, spoilers. The movie's been out for 21 years. Sorry. But he had a great death in this, where he's like giving this whole speech, whatever. First, we're going to seal off this pool, and then the shark gets him. It's some of the worst special effects in the world. But I enjoyed this because, one, I've always had this fear of drowning, because it's like a fear of drowning. I have a fear of closed spaces. But no, As Above, So Below is not on here. So I like Deep Blue Sea, and I thought with everything that was a Jaws ripoff, they made the most of it. And it was good. It was good. I liked it. I thought it was fun. And we go to number 47. That's back to 2011 for Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. I liked it. I thought it was good. I thought it was quite goddamn good. I mean, I don't know how historically accurate all the shit was. I mean, outside of the vampire stuff, obviously. But goddamn, they put a lot of effort into this. And you could argue that maybe they should have had a little more vampire killing. That was really my only complaint. This movie probably would have been about 20 spots higher had they gone with a ton more vampire killing. But they had a lot of fun with it. And it was good. It was about a president killing vampires. How could you not enjoy that? I don't know. If you didn't enjoy it, it's fine. Number 46, still in 2011, The Intruders. Clive Owen was great. Clive Owen is great in a lot of these movies. I think that he is particularly underrated when it comes to, getting the most out of a role like this. And it was just really, really good. If you haven't seen this, it's actually pretty scary. I mean, not like super scary where like I'm on the edge of my seat, but this movie kind of stuck with me for a bit. And is the story a little simple? Sure. Is it a little silly? Sure. But is it enjoyable? Yes. And there were some good scares in it. So please check out the description. Let me know what you guys think. Or let me know if you guys have seen any of these and what your guys' thoughts are. Because I'm actually pretty happy with, the fact that I managed to get a ton of these from like 94 to 2019 and include most of my favorites. And The Intruders, I wasn't sure how this was going to be, and I actually really enjoyed it. We go number 5. Back to 2013, Mama. Scary. Now, silly. The end in particular was silly. I like the concept of it, and I like the atmosphere and everything. And yeah, okay, maybe they could have gone a little more for like the visceral stuff with it, but they did some good psychological stuff. And the fact that it was a ghost of this woman that was going after children that she had been raising and everything somehow. I'm not exactly sure how that worked, but she was haunting everybody because, of course, she's a fucking ghost and she's attached to these children. And yeah, admittedly, it was silly, like I said, especially that ending, but which I'm not going to spoil here, even though I spoiled some other stuff. But in talking about the other movies, but this was a pretty good movie. I actually own it. I liked it. I don't know if I loved it as much as I thought I would, but I really did like it, and I have to include it on this list. Then we go to number 44, going all the way back to 1997 for Anaconda. Yes, it is not scary in particular per se, but it's a fun, stupid monster movie about a giant snake that drastically changes its size depending on your perspective, and a bunch of people get killed. In particular, Jon Voight gets eaten and then spat back out. And the sad thing is, I actually think an Anaconda did that to Jon Voight because that's the only way to explain how he looks and how the man thinks now. Seriously, the guy's a goddamn idiot. But with this movie, it was just a throwback to the 50s, 60s, 70s monster movies. With, pumped up special effects and stuff like that. And the whole title, when, the tagline, when you can't breathe, you can't scream, which is true. That is how that is how the body works. If you can't breathe, it's really hard to do any screaming. But it was cheesy. It was fun. It was dumb, but it was fun. So I'm going to put it on here. Number 43, 2011, we go to The Others. Okay, it's Nicole Kidman with her kids, and they're haunted by people. But then it turns out they're actually not haunted by people, and they're haunting the other people. Sorry, that pretty much sums up the whole damn movie right there. Now, the movie was quite good and had really good atmospheric shots and was very, very well crafted. And Nicole Kidman was great. The kids playing, her kids were great. I really liked this movie. I really thought it was a lot of fun. I almost put Brotherhood of the Wolf on here, but Brotherhood of the Wolf wasn't particularly a scary movie, even though it had a few jump elements. So I'll talk about my favorite foreign movies at some point. Foreign language movies at some point on here. Or not on here, but on another list. So, we go to number 42, The Craft, 1996. Neve Campbell, I think that's how you say it. Fairuza Balk, which I keep thinking Veruca Salt, and Robin Tunney, I think she was in it. She was also in Vertical Limit, which I'm sorry if that's the one other thing I remember her from. I do not remember what the other girl was in there, what other stuff she was in. I mean, I'm sorry. There's rumors they're going to remake The Craft. No. They're going to do it anyway, whether I say it or not. But I love The Craft. Maybe less horror and more psychological horror. But I like how they did the whole witchcraft thing, and they made it like it was like, very much a 90s, like, oh, we're going to put these women in these empowering roles and stuff like that. And actually, it was pretty well done, and there were some spoopy elements and everything. It was not too spoopy, but it was nice actually to see how Neve Campbell kind of got her start in Hollywood, even though I'm sure she'd been in other movies. But yeah, it was pretty much Neve Campbell and then like everybody else and like the main cast and like, like as far as like varying levels of success that they had. But I enjoyed The Craft. I thought it was quite good. These girls have witchcraft powers and some great shit happens. Sure, it's silly, but goddamn, isn't it supposed to be fun? And it is fun. And then we move on to number 41. We move on to The Crazies. Didn't think I was going to like this. Really did. Really liked it. It was better than the original. And the original, you could argue, was due to budgetary constraints and stuff like that. But I actually really enjoyed this. Sure, okay, the whole thing about a virus taking over a town and stuff like that and making people, undead, but not undead, but just psychotic and stuff like that. It was better than 28 Days Later, I'll say that much. Sorry, didn't like 28 Days Later. That is not on this list. I can just hear the fingers typing for the comments and stuff like that, but this is my list once again. The Crazies I did really enjoy, though. I liked the one sequence where I think it was like a Little League game, and there was this guy that was clearly, just like, possessed by this virus or, taken over by this virus, and he's walking like towards the field and stuff like that, and the cops have to stop him. It was just a really well done, tightly compacted horror movie. It reminded me a lot of like a movie called Mutant. It was done in 82, 83, something like that. But what was really nice about this one is it had more pumped up special effects, but it had that feel of like a small town being taken over. And I thought that they did a pretty good job with that. So we go to all the way back to 1999 for the 40th entrant. That is the Blair Witch Project. Yeah, okay, all right. It hasn't aged well. The whole thing of them trying to make it real and it turning out to actually be a hoax and just something they created for marketing. It was actually pretty smart because it got a lot of people a lot of attention. Nobody of the three in this cast, I think, are even still in acting. I think Heather Donahue, the lone girl in there, was the only one that still was even in movies for like a little bit. And I don't even think the other two were really in that much stuff. I haven't checked their IMDb pages, so I have no idea, but it was kind of funny. This was like the height of their success, which it was what it was. And hey, the movie got a lot of attention. And actually, if you look back on it, there's some scary stuff about it, like being lost in the woods and not knowing what the hell's going on. Oh, yeah, the fact you're looking for a witch that kills people. Maybe wasn't the best camping trip idea, and there you go. Still better than Willow Creek. But then again, Willow Creek was absolute shit. And no, I'm not talking about Wolf Creek. Wolf Creek actually wasn't that bad. Willow Creek was the one about the two that were, the couple that went looking for Bigfoot in the woods. Yeah. Blair Witch Project, however, great found footage movie. Launched a whole lot of found footage movies from there on. Though it wasn't the one that like really brought it back into the forefront. Because you had this and then you had some others. And it kind of went off to the side. And then something else came out in 2007 that I'm going to talk about here in a bit. But with this, Blair Witch Project was a lot of fun. And then we move on to number 39. We go to 2015. We go to The Witch. I did not think I was going to like this that much. It was a very, very, very slow burn 95-minute horror movie. Very slow burn. But that feeling of dread and this family living on this farm, not wanting to be part of this religious community and stuff like that, but then witchcraft kind of getting taken over and this daughter being accused of this stuff, even though she wasn't doing anything, except she kind of was, because witchcraft was taking over the family. And then that freaking ending, just the closing moments and stuff like that were just really well done. It was just a very well-crafted story and with some great horror elements, but it is a slow burn. If you do not like slow burn movies, you're not going to enjoy it. And I enjoyed the main girl who was in it. I think she has a very bright future in Hollywood. And she's young enough to where she can build a great foundation and a great, amount of movies that she's doing. She wants to stick with this. I enjoyed the movie. I enjoyed the movie quite a goddamn bit. And then we move on to number 38. 1997, The Devil's Advocate. Okay, maybe it's not horror so much. I'm going to put it as horror. Psychological horror. Funny horror. It's Al Pacino playing the goddamn devil and Keanu Reeves has to act. And Charlize Theron is in it. I mean, take my money. Actually, the movie did. I saw it a couple times in theaters. I really enjoyed this movie. I don't know how I saw this in theaters because I was 16 at the time. That's back when they really didn't check the IDs of a lot of people in these, when it came to like people getting in the movies. I guess theaters really didn't give a shit at the time. Nothing in this was really going to scar anybody. And sure, the movie hasn't aged all that well, but it was fun. It was fun and it was comedic, but it also had some good horror stuff about it. And it had the woman who played Warner in Law and Order. She played the medical examiner. She was the Tamara Tooney. Oh God, I don't remember her name at all. She was really good though. She played a character of Warner. I really liked her in this also. But yes, Charlize Theron and others. There was a really, really good cast of this movie. It was just a lot of fun. I mean, you could tell everybody was having a lot of fun with it. I liked it. I liked it quite a bit. And then we move on to number 37, staying in 1987 for I Know What You Did Last Summer. What are you waiting for, huh? What are you waiting for? As Jennifer Love Hewitt throws her tits out on screen. I mean, in a cut top. She actually didn't do that, at least not in the version I saw. But it was just kind of funny with that. Four teens, Freddie Prinze Jr., Ryan Phillippe, Jennifer Love Hewitt, Sarah Michelle Gellar. Remember her? Yeah, remember her? Remember when she was really popular? Remember when Freddie Prinze Jr. was really popular? I think Jennifer Love Hewitt and Ryan Phillippe actually got the best of that, as far as building anything with a career. I mean, Ryan Phillippe was the dad in Wish Upon. Ryan Phillippe is old enough to play a dad in a movie. I am goddamn old. Wish Upon. Complete shit. I Know What You Did Last Summer, however, not complete shit. Piggybacking off the success of Scream, the idea was, okay, could we turn this horror movie franchise or could we turn this into a franchise? And then I Still Know What You Did Last Summer happened. That existed. But then they later did I'll Always Know What You Did Last Summer. I'm expecting a remake of I Know What You Did Last Summer to happen pretty goddamn soon. But anyway, 4 teens end up hitting a guy in the road, and it haunts them, and they all go off and do their own things and stuff like that. And then a fisherman, with a hook and a hooded jacket and a rain slicker hooded jacket starts killing people. It's pretty much it. And it's a fun movie. It's a fun slasher. Throwback to the 80s, 70s, 80s, that kind of stuff. And it was just enjoyable. It really, really was. But then we go to number 36. We go up to 1998. So we go 1 year. Wow, we're 1 year in the future, despite the fact we're actually 21 years past that. Halloween H2O. LL Cool J and Jamie Lee Curtis in the same movie. And Josh Barnett actually wasn't too goddamn bad in this. Or is it Josh Barnett? Josh Barnett, I think. Josh Barnett's the MMA wrestling guy. So, yeah, it's Halloween 20 years later, ignoring all the other sequels, and Michael Myers is attacking, Laurie Strode, who's a college professor, and people start dying. It was good. I liked it. I mean, compared to a lot of the other Halloween sequels, really besides the 2018 one, this is actually the best of the bunch, at least in my personal opinion. I really liked it, and I thought it was creative. It was a nice way. Scream really launched a lot of slashers coming back, and it was nice to see a proper Halloween sequel. You could argue that Halloween 2 actually wasn't that bad. That was the one done in, I think, like the early 80s. But it wasn't like, anything. It was all that great. This did not have Danielle Harris in it, unfortunately. She was in the Rob Zombie versions. Well, at least the first one. And I don't know how in the world she looked like she was 20, and yet she was in her 30s at the time, and apparently is like near, well, I don't want to say near 50, but I think she's at least in her 40s now, and I've seen recent pictures. How in the world is she not aged like that? Anyway, back to this movie, as I get sidetracked easily. You can tell that I have some issues getting sidetracked easily on this. The Rob Zombie versions are not on here, though I will concede the Rob Zombie versions weren't that bad. I think they get a bad rap. I think that he put his spin on as best he could. With Halloween H2O, though, it just makes it sound like a Halloween, version of Vitamin Water, is what I couldn't get over the title. But the movie itself is absolutely great. Yes, of course, the mask was very silly, very stupid. That was my only complaint with it. But they had some good deaths in this, and they had some good shit. They really did have some good shit in this. So we move on to the number 35 entrant. That's the 2013 version of Evil Dead. I'll rip your soul out. That's basically pretty much the main line of this. This is how you do a remake properly. You make it more visceral. You make it more insane. And yes, it's still comedic here and there and stuff like that. Many could argue that the original was better. And that's fine. That's okay. Evil Dead 2 is probably the height of the comedic one, and Army of Darkness just went full on balls to the wall crazy. With this, yes, there was comedic elements, but there's a lot more horror to it. And I wasn't sure how this was going to go. It went goddamn well. I was very, very surprised by how good this remake of Evil Dead was. You can let me know what you guys thought, or you can check it out if you've seen the original Evil Dead movies. Check out this one. Let me know what you guys think, because I particularly enjoyed it. And then we move on to, I couldn't decide, so I'm doing two of them. We're going to 1997 for Scream 2. We're going 2011 for Scream 4. Scream 2 may be one of the best horror sequels that has been made ever. Because it was really goddamn good. Now, did it compare to the original? No. It was also only done a year afterwards. This is a movie also that I snuck into. And a 3-screen theater. A 3-screen theater, and somehow the workers did not capture me. Oh boy. Yeah, I was a mean little kid, I broke a lot of laws when I was young. Actually, I'm sorry, if that's breaking a law, then we're in a lot of trouble, because that really wasn't that bad. But anyway, with Scream 2, you had pumped up deaths and everything, and you had the continuation of the story of Sidney Prescott, Neve Campbell's character, not being able to trust people, but then also having a boyfriend, Jerry O'Connell. Remember him? Seriously, where's Jerry O'Connell been? But you had returning characters, David Arquette's character, Courtney Cox, Randy. Randy met an untimely end. And a lot of people met an untimely end, because that's how these slasher movies work. There's more visceral deaths. There was some goofiness with, like, a killer, the killer in the car and everything and stuff like that, and them having to sneak out of the cop car. But I really enjoyed this one. It was nice to see the woman who played Jackie in the original Roseanne series as the killer here. It was kind of fun. And Scream 4, I thought did a pretty damn good. It made up for Scream 3, which I didn't enjoy. I thought Scream 3 was fine, but I didn't think it was great. But Scream 4, I thought, did the best they could. Now, where Scream 4 failed was not going with the fresh young cast and going off in a different direction. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like Scream 5 is going to happen, which I'm disappointed by. Excuse me, because I liked Scream 4, and I thought the deaths were good. I thought everything was really well done, but it also was a tale of, 2 movies where it seemed like they wanted to go in a different direction, but then they stuck with the old cast, which I understood, but also it was a double-edged sword. You stick with the original cast, some people are happy, but also you can't continue the series, because then what are you going to do? Bring in a whole fresh new cast and then do all that shit over again? I was happy to see a Scream 4, though. I enjoyed it. Maybe it's not everybody's cup of tea, but Scream 2, Scream 4 are tied here at number 34. We go to number 33, Sleepy Hollow, 1999. Johnny Depp, Christina Ricci. Casper Van Dien was in this. Fresh off of Starship Troopers. I like Casper Van Dien. I think he's actually pretty good. But what I enjoyed about Sleepy Hollow, and Christopher Walken as the Headless Horseman, it was just good. It was just good shit. And it was filmed Gothic style and everything. Tim Burton with some really incredible shots and everything. And the way he did the stuff. It was telling the tale of the Headless Horseman, Ichabod Crane. Sure, it was silly. It was dumb. But it was fun. And I loved the visual of the blood, because it was in pseudo black and white and that kind of stuff. I mean, washed out and everything. But it just really worked well. And it was a really good, visceral, fun horror comedy movie. It just was really good. One of Tim Burton's finest. And back when Johnny Depp actually, was rising up like in the ranks and everything, even though he was appreciated, it was still really, really nice to see Johnny Depp in a role like this. And again, and Christopher Walken as the Headless Horseman. What the fuck else do you need? So, number 32, the Dawn of the Dead remake from 2004. No, Land of the Dead is not on here, because Land of the Dead was shit. Dawn of the Dead, however, I loved everything about it, from the opening sequence where the woman is at a hospital. I believe it is Sarah Pauli. Sarah Pauli, I believe is her name. Has Ving Rhames and also various other people in it. But she's, at a hospital, drives home. You hear these pseudo things about radio and stuff like that, or on the radio about some weird shit that may be going on. And then her and her husband, are in bed together. And then this kid shows up, and this kid is bitten by a zombie. Kid bites the husband. Well, then, things just really go off the fucking rails. She has to get rid of the husband. She has to get away from the husband. She has to get into her car. She has to race. People are being chased by zombies. all this bullshit's going on and everything. She's just driving and driving and driving and driving. And hopefully she had a full tank. But she just kept driving and driving as all this shit's going on. The zombies are causing explosions. Apparently they're kamikaze zombies or something like that. Or they're filled with nitroglycerin. We don't know. But all this stuff's going on. And eventually they end up in the shopping mall. And that was pretty fun. It was just a fun send up and much more visceral version of the I believe it was 1978 version, which was really good. It was really good. That version was good. This version was good. I like the zombie deaths and gore and stuff like that. Sure, it falls back on the whole thing of maybe we shouldn't do this, but we're going to do this and interrupt our, Fortress of Solitude thing to save this one guy that's just across the street. And then that ends up happening and stuff like that, and the dog gets involved. And the dog's fine, by the way. At least as far as I know, because the dog apparently won't get eaten. But the humans will. I'm not sure that zombies have that kind of code of honor, but whatever. It was a fun movie, though. And it had a version of Down with the Sickness and stuff like that, which actually fit pretty goddamn well with it. So, move on to number 31. That's 2009's Pandorum. They're in a spaceship, or in a ship, or in a fort, or in something underwater, and there are these weird creatures attacking. And it had Dennis Quaid in it. And it had this one young guy in it where it's like he's not sure what the fuck's going on. What the fuck is going on with this? Why are these weird creatures attacking? Why does it seem like nobody else is on this ship? Or in this thing, what the hell is going on? And it turns out that the ship actually crashed underwater. And that all this stuff's going on, and that these were genetic experiments, or they were humans mutated and stuff like that. I'm describing the plot pretty badly because it's something you have to watch to appreciate. I didn't think I was going to like it. I actually did really like Pandorum quite a bit. I actually thought it was pretty damn. It was a bit spooky, but I liked the atmosphere. I liked the action sequences. I liked the horror elements, psychological horror elements. The obvious reveal was obvious. I mean, of course, that's what the point of an obvious reveal is, but it was a lot of fun. It was well done. And I particularly enjoyed it. I thought it was quite good. Then we move on to 2009. Once again, 2009. My Bloody Valentine, the remake. Okay, My Bloody Valentine, the 1981 version. Excuse me. Allergies are a bitch, folks. That much I'll say. 1 second. But anyway, My Bloody Valentine. I enjoyed it. It had one of the guys from Supernatural. And it was a funny send-up of like all these horror movies while carving its own path and having a whole lot of fun. Goofy deaths. Because since it was in 3D, they were going to do a lot of 3D deaths. And yes, it falls on a goofy little like thing about, being possessed by the killer, by the ghost of a killer. Which seemed like it was leading to a sequel. It never actually ended up happening. But with this, the deaths were good. The comedy was fun. It was just a great slasher movie. And yes, okay, maybe 30's a bit high. But I enjoyed this one. And that's why I'm ranking it so goddamn high. So, I'm going to finish up with a few more of these. And then I'm going to continue with the second part here in a little bit. Number 29, 2012's VHS. Let me tell you right now, I'm never going on another goddamn date again after seeing that first tape. The idea is a short anthology series of movies. And it's these guys going into this house to break into this house to get this rare VHS tape, which apparently people still had in 2012. Actually, I think if I remember right, the DVD version of this actually had a VHS version of it. Because VHS tapes were like long gone by this point. But guys break into a house, they find this guy dead, and they keep watching these tapes because they're trying to figure out what the tape is because the tapes aren't labeled. But then the body keeps moving around during this. It's this overarching storyline. So, with VHS, the first tape is called Date Night. Or Blind Date. I forget exactly what it was. And they're all going out, and the various thing is found footage, so you have various versions of, like, cameras being used. Like, there was a camera in this guy's glasses. Another one had a laptop that was, like, facing out and stuff like that. And then there were the others that had their typical cameras and stuff like that, or camera phones. But with the first one, that one stuck out to me because you had all these, the guys taking these girls back, and the guy with the glasses, he kept being not besieged, but he kept seeing this one girl, and this nice, quiet little girl was like, "I like you. I like you." That's all she said. And it got really scary by the end because it turned out, oh boy, was she some kind of weird creature and stuff like that. And oh boy, that scared me. It's scaring me. I need to stop talking about it. I don't know why that scared me in particular because I've seen scarier shit before, but it was just the idea that you couldn't get away from this and that maybe you need to be careful about who you date and you probably should pay attention to The Quiet Ones. Not the movie The Quiet Ones, that one was shit. But there's that one. There's there were a few other tapes in there, but that one particularly stuck out to me. And then the one about the guys that go to the wrong Halloween party and find out that they interrupt this ritual of trying to kill this girl that was possessed by the devil and stuff like that, as you do. I don't know what Halloween party hasn't ended with something like that. But with this, I really like the overarching story of, like, the guys being killed by this guy that wasn't actually dead. Yeah, VHS got to me, and I didn't think it would, but boy, it was pretty scary. And then we move on to number 28, Jennifer's Body, 2009. 2009, fun year for horror movies. I know that a lot of people are going to say, Jennifer's Body, really? But I still love the, tagline, what's inside Jennifer's body? And it was Megan Fox, and that's back when Megan Fox actually was seen as something viable in Hollywood. And I know it sounds like I'm burying her needlessly, but her star kind of fell pretty quickly. With this, it was her, Amanda Seyfried, I don't know how you actually say it. They were best friends, and Jennifer, Megan Fox, she ends up basically, going out to a party and ends up, this satanic ritual happens. She ends up becoming a succubus, as you do at any party. A lot of weird shit happens at these parties. It was a ritual gone wrong and stuff like that. Now she's consuming people. It's like, I think Amanda was even at one point, you're killing people. No, I'm killing boys, retorts Jennifer. It was self-aware. It was stupid, but I liked it. I thought it was fun. Great? No. But fun. Because that's the whole point of this list. It's supposed to be about fun. Now, once I get to the top 20, especially the top 20, things are going to get a little better. As far as, like, horror movies that people particularly enjoyed. And that were actually scary and less comedic. But with this, I really like Jennifer's Body. I thought it was fun. Now we go to 2008, the retro year of 2008 for The Ruins. So you got a bunch of kids that are going out to these Mayan ruins and stuff like that. Stay around them. Don't touch anything. Oh, they touch stuff. These natives won't let them leave. And it turns out that the ruins are alive and taking over on them and stuff like that. And there was some really visceral visual shit here that I'm not going to lie to you, kind of got to me. It kind of got to me quite a bit. Not great. The ruins were not particularly, the ruins was not particularly scary. So much like, holy crap, that shit's happening, or it was like, oh, it's throwing this stuff in your face. But it was the visceral nature of it and the fact that these kids are trapped. And I mean, yeah, they were stupid. They made stupid decisions, and they deserved, quite frankly, every bit of an end that they got. But also, it was a little bit scary, a little bit frightening, very, very frightening. Now, that's actually later. And I'm not going to quote the rest of the Queen song. This was actually a very fun movie with some good horror elements to it. I really liked it. I didn't think I was going to like it at all. And then we move on to number 26. That's 2013. It's VHS 2, Electric Boogaloo. Boy, you want to talk about something that was scary? That one about the Indonesian death cult. That one was scary. There was a great one with a guy that got bit by a zombie, and you get to see a first-person perspective of what happened with that. The only one I didn't particularly like was the end one because the dog got killed. I mean, was what it was. You didn't really get to see it on camera, yet you kind of did. But it really was hard to not rate VHS 2 a little bit higher because 3 of the 4 tapes were really goddamn good. Sure, sure, with VHS 1, maybe you got a bit more scary stuff. But actually, I got to argue that Indonesian Death Cult one, that could have been a full-fledged movie, and I would have watched it. It was fucking terrifying, in my opinion. And that right there means I'm going to elevate it above VHS 1, even though I love the date night one. So that's actually where I'm going to leave this off here. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this list. And I'm sorry for my voice. I'm just suffering from some allergies that suddenly flared up. But anyway, do you agree? Do you disagree with what I said? Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritlin. I'll see you soon.